I'm going to say a few words about some of the efforts we do around meal making and supporting My Brother's Table. Our church has a long history of working with and supporting My Brother's Table in Lynn. The table provides meals to anyone who wants one, no questions asked. Because of this, it accepts no government support and relies entirely on donors and supporters to operate. Once COVID appeared, the table went from serving food in its large cafeteria, the soup kitchen model, to handing out to-go meals. And it went from serving 200 people a day to 500 people. Beginning relatively soon after COVID started, a number of us at the church started signing up and making meal bags on our own. We coordinated over email and usually made the bags in our individual houses since we couldn't yet be together. Over time, we were able to meet at church to make the bags, something we do now on a monthly basis, and have at this point made thousands of them. We have a group of about 20 people who cycle in and out each month to make between 200 and 300 lunch and or dinner bags. And this includes an important contribution each month from the kids in the church school. And like all good volunteer or giving opportunities, it has given a lot to us. It's helped us stay connected to each other. It's helped us express our hopes and our values using our hands. And it's helped us to feel like we're doing something good. My Brother's Table has indicated that they won't be going back to serving meals in the cafeteria anytime soon, so the meal bags will continue to be needed for a long time to come. If you'd like to join us in giving back and strengthening our church community, please come and talk to me, and I'll be happy to inform you of that or look for information in our weekly updates.
It's always exciting to discover a new verse or chapter of a book or a song or a poem that you've loved for a long time, which is what happened to me this past week. I've been using the Robert Louis Stevenson Prayer for My Family in church for years because it's one of my favorites, but I didn't know until, as I said just earlier this week, that I had been using an excerpt for all these years, and in fact, there was more to it than I had previously known. And the new part, new to me, was this stanza. Let peace abound in our small company, purge out of every heart the lurking grudge. Give us grace and strength to forbear and to persevere. Give us the grace to accept and to forgive offenders, forgetful ourselves. Help us to bear cheerfully the forgetfulness of others. There's a lot of beautiful stuff there, but what I was particularly taken by was that phrase, lurking grudge. The lurking grudge. It sounds like a band name. That's great writing right there, but it also is a great description of the painful emotional condition of resentment. Oh, resentment. The terrible and often shameful hurt that comes with feeling that one's efforts, presence, contributions are not sufficiently appreciated. Shame often comes along with resentment because we think, I'm being petty. I know better. We don't give of ourselves in order to be thanked. So then there we heap guilt upon the sadness and often very justifiable irritation of resentment. And where do you put all that? The lurking grudge is the opposite condition of grace, which is a theological term that conveys the amplitude of God's love for us, of creation's outpouring energy, that love freely given. In fact, irresistible, if you're a Calvinist, which we are not. Our Unitarian and Universalist traditions do teach, however, that divine grace is our birthright. Resentment can be terribly isolating, as those suffering it find themselves unable to rejoice with others, to enjoy their happiness, The lurking grudges may have accumulated over time and perhaps been stoked like a fire too enthusiastically. We all know people like this. And prevent the sufferer from fully engaging with others. They may be there in body, smiling for the family photos, but their hearts are not in it. And as surely as we go over the river and through the woods to whoever's house for the holidays, so does resentment come over the river and through the woods to our tables this time of year as an unwelcome guest. Let me introduce you to Chloe Haddock, a creation of the playwright Terrence McNally from his play Lips Together, Teeth Apart, which had a Broadway run in the early 90s. The play is about two heterosexual couples spending the 4th of July weekend at a summer place on Fire Island, which is really like a gay colony. Chloe makes her first appearance asking everyone what they want to eat. She says, I've got eggs, bacon, fresh squeezed orange juice, coffee, decaf, Colombian water processed, Special K, English muffins, French muffins, German muffins, Dutch muffins. The latter options are, of course, a joke thrown into her offer because she's sure that no one's listening to her. And they aren't. They're all very much absorbed in their own thoughts, their own fears, and their own drama. It's a play. Of course, there's a lot of drama. Chloe is very much meant to be the comic relief in the play. While the other characters have serious issues to contend with, Chloe is the fun and funny one. A wife and mother of 3, a community theater diva. Throughout the show, she's seen rehearsing for her local production of Guys and Dolls, doing little dance numbers. She is self-effacing and changes her outfit every 20 minutes or half an hour or so, insecurely asking everybody, do I match? And always fluttering around trying to feed people. As the tensions rise between the two couples, Chloe finally has a frustrated outburst. She says, as she is being banished to the bedroom, I think it's precisely the small things that I run on about that seem to annoy you so. The little day-to-day details, the nuances that give our lives some zip and some meaning. I care about cooking the burgers so that each of you get exactly what you ask for. I worry about who's driving the children's carpool that particular week. I notice what's going on around me. I talk too much, probably because it's too horrible to think about what's really going on. And so you see a little bit of the anxiety and the resentment underneath all of those offers of muffins and Special K and decaf and burgers. In Chloe's case, the horrible things, too horrible to think about, are her husband's cancer diagnosis and the fact that he has been having an affair with her sister-in-law, who is part of the other couple who's present that weekend. But we all have our things. And while they do not go away on those days or occasions built into our calendars that almost insist on gratitude and joy, they can be refitted in a new perspective. On those occasions, on those feast times, on those gathering times, we can sometimes see that they are not all that is happening. The terrible things we can't talk about. Feast days set aside to thank God or the gods have always been part of cultures. They do not require that anyone fake joy, but they invite us, they invite the people to open themselves to the grace that abounds. Even for those struggling with lurking grudges or other difficult emotions, holidays need not be a forced march to false gaiety, but are an invitation. An invitation, see the larger creation, See your place in it? See how the table is set for you? Can you accept how much there is and enough for all? About that enough for all, though, I think about Chloe with her countertop piled with all those goodies, all that food that no one will eat, making the burgers just right so that none of her morose, guilty companions is likely to notice or appreciate. Because for all of them who already have more than enough, this is too much. Part of our responsibility for our own renewal of gratitude is to attend where we may be pouring out our efforts, to notice who and what we are feeding that may be overstuffed already, and to leave some space there, perhaps, and turn our attention to people or communities that may not have too much or enough and need to be given some care in the form of food or attention or support, solidarity. We do this not so that we may be thanked and not in the expectation that we will be magically cured of all of our lurking grudges, but to share the grace and abundance that we ourselves experience in body and soul, to share it and then therefore to receive it back. That is why we make sandwiches. This past week, the Sikh community in Boston, in the greater Boston area, prepared meals for 1,500 guests in homeless shelters in honor of their founder, Guru Nanak, who instituted the spiritual practice of langar, community meals, many centuries ago to break down taboos against people of different castes in India eating together. The meals are prepared in one kitchen in the same enormous pots, and everyone dines together on rugs placed on the floor so that they may be all on equal levels, symbolizing humanity's equality and oneness. Whether you are making sandwiches or serving turkey dinners to underserved members of your community or loved ones, or dropping off a Tupperware container of chili, as did a woman to her young male neighbors this week after she noticed that they were just delivering pizza from DoorDash constantly, and it occurred to her that maybe they'd like a home-cooked meal. Or whether you are perfecting your stuffing recipe in your mind even now, or planning pies for family and friends, may your preparing, your serving, your giving, and your receiving be expressions of grace, that unearned love and beauty that we all partake of, one equal human family, all hungry for recognition, inclusion, and warm companionship across the table or wherever else it may be found. May you have a blessed and abundant Thanksgiving.